My god, that's normal. It's so satisfactory. I'm appropriately well. I'm ConceptSoup. These are my Turner gross. And this is the Deepcool CC560 ARGB PC case. What does it look like? What does it do? What is the meaning of life? All questions we will answer today. I paid £55 for this a little while ago, which I thought was a decent price, and it puts it in the Budget Plus family of cases. So, without further ado, let's go. Let's unbox it. Got a bit stuck, give it a slap with the magic wand, and out she comes. So, it comes like this, in foam, just like any PC case. You unscrew the 4 thumb screws on the glass to access the interior. On the cable management side, 2 rear thumb screws to remove the steel panel. Here we can see the cables from the front panel, USB 3, USB 2, HD audio, and front panel. This little ARGB hub for the included fans, which I'll talk about in a sec, that's also there. We've got an instruction manual, cable ties, and screws. The fan connectors are these proprietary ARGB connectors and a 3-pin DC fan connector. The ARGB from the fans daisy chains together, i.e. they piggyback off one another, and then you use this cable to connect the 3-pin ARGB header on your motherboard to these fans. That actually means that the included ARGB hub that we just showed a second ago, it's not actually needed as long as you're connecting the fans to your motherboard's 3-pin ARGB header with that cable. If you want to use the case button to change the color of the fans and not the motherboard, then you'll need to use the hub, which we showed following the instruction manual that comes with the case. Now for a whistle-stop tour of the cable management chamber, here you can see cable tie-down loops for cable management. I like this more minimal approach. Many cases over-engineer cable management, but this one keeps it nice and simple. Here, there are slots for 2 2.5-inch SSDs or hard drives. This bit here, I actually have no idea what it's for, though it looks like somewhere a 2.5-inch drive bracket might go, but I don't think there's one included with the case. Sometimes cases are produced for many manufacturers at the same time, so these cutouts may not be useful on this particular case, but maybe on another one that's sold by a different company. This is our power supply bay. There is no cutout on the front side, which I like. Stops you seeing that ugly label from the front of your case. Plenty of room for your standard ATX power supplies. Large power supplies, like 1000 watt plus power supplies, you might need to remove the hard drive cage to make room, which we'll talk about in a sec. This is the drive cage. It comes out fairly easily by flipping the PC onto its side, taking out these 2 screws and sliding the whole thing out. There are 2 positions, we're going to call them front and back. Front will give you more room for cable stuffing behind your power supply. However, the back position will allow you to mount a 360mm radiator in the front of the case, so make sure you're choosing wisely based on the parts that you're using for your particular build. Here is the front aspect of the case. Some square perforations make it probably about average for airflow. Nice clean look. We've got 3 fans included on the front and 1 fan included on the rear. Using our action cam, we can take a look at the inside of the presentation side of this case. There's our 3 front ARGB fans. In the top, there's room for 2 120 or 140mm fans, or you could put a 240mm AIO liquid cooler there if you desire. Some standoffs for your motherboard are pre-installed, but you may need to install some of the ones that are included if you're using an ATX motherboard, and some MATX motherboards as well. In this case overall, you can fit ATX, micro ATX, and ITX boards. Finally, along the bottom are some cable routing holes. It's nice to see the slightly higher ones as well, which will come in handy if you're using a micro ATX motherboard like we will in today's build. Just looks a bit neater without having all those cables sort of reaching up from the bottom. Nice to see that Deepcool know their target audience are likely to be using budget MATX motherboards with this budget case. It just makes sense. The front panel contains a power button, USB 2, USB 3, combined headphone mic jack, and an LED changing button, which, as we said earlier, will only work if you're using the included hub. Otherwise, just use your motherboard software. It's way easier, and it's what I did. First impressions, you say? Well, it looks tidy. It's not overdone, it's a generic mid-tower size, nothing groundbreaking, but nothing terrible either. For £55, I'd say it's about fair. But you can't review a case without building inside it first. So let's hop to it, and I'll see you after the time lapse.
Living every day in your head for free. You can tap away, but I will not hear you scream. You can break the keys, spread your toxicity, your world out
case is like oatmeal. It sustains you. It's good enough. If it was a man, it would be called Bob. If it were a woman, it would be called Jane. Neutral face emoji. Thoughts? Put them in the comments below. Oh, you wanted my thoughts? Well, it's decent. Decent is the right word. Subtle RGB glow, acceptable airflow, generally good build quality. Can't complain, but neither does it get me excited. I suppose that's part and parcel of offering a good budget case. It's appropriate, proportional, satisfactory. Something I do really like is that they include 4 RGB fans, where most companies are just going to put the 3 on the front and leave you with nothing in the back. I think that's a nice touch. I think the design of the Deepcool CC560 is ideal for someone that wants a nice black case with some light RGB glow, but not too garish. In terms of performance, it's about on par with most other cases. You might get slightly better thermals with something like a LAN Cool 215, for example, due to the extensive mesh and giant 200mm fans, but it's nearly twice the price. And in budget cases, people will use budget or mid-range parts which don't require the best-in-class airflow cases. I only have a couple of minor reservations, mainly around the pre-installed fans. In themselves, the fans are fine, they do a good job, but the way they were put into the case by Deepcool is a bit unfortunate. The labels are upside down, which visually is a little bit jarring. You could flip the fans around so that the writing is the right way up, but then you're going to have to drag the cable across the front of the fans. It's not going to look very nice, and it's also going to make your runs of cable a lot harder to manage as well, because they're going to be shorter. The cable management on those fans was also pretty poor. If we compare the initial footage of the case versus the finished build, you can see that I've had to reroute the cable to keep it looking neat. It's just quality of life stuff, but otherwise I'm happy with the build. As for the PC as a whole, the Ryzen 5 3600 is back, baby, an iconic CPU, really popular for many years and still offering good performance. Its modern competitor is probably the Ryzen 5 5500. I'd say the 5500 is a smidge faster, but the 3600 has other features like more PCIe lanes, PCIe 4 connectivity, and I think a bit more level 3 cache as well. So in some games you're going to get a bit better with the 3600, some games you're going to get a bit better with the 5500. I'd say get whatever is cheaper unless you really need that PCIe 4.0 connectivity. The RTX 3060 is a solid workhorse and will have good longevity thanks to DLSS technology. A nicely balanced set of hardware, if I do say so myself. You will not be disappointed in the Deepcool CC560. You will not be amazed by the Deepcool CC560. You'll get exactly what you expect, and in today's world, that's nothing to sniff at. So, see you next time, and never, ever, ever forget that. Actually, no, I'm not going to show you my toenail clippers again. Goodbye!